So how's life?
Life is not bad at all. It's good. Rugby's going great. Coaching's going great. Recently just got engaged in February, so things are moving in the right direction. So I've been busy, so it's good. It's good.
Good stuff. And so do you have a bit of downtime now with the rugby?
Yeah, so we have downtime. You can say we have 2 weeks off, just to chill out and kind of reset, refocus, and then we're back in on October the 3rd, Monday. So we're like straight back into competition because we've Hong Kong in I like start of November. So so yeah, there's not a lot of downtime. It's just straight back into it. To be honest, I don't know what preseason is going to be like. So or will it be a preseason? It could just be a back into the swing of things, get organized and hit the ground running hard at Hong Kong.
Yeah, nice one. And where do you train out of?
We train out of Blanchetown. So there's a place called a High Performance Center, and it's this new building. They have the FAI, or kind of, they have one side of it. So they have their AstroTurf pitch, and then we have our side, and we have all the offices, and there's a new gym in there. And then there's like 3 pitches out the back. So like it's a great facility. They put a load of money into it. So there's loads to do there. And there's the good physio room, good gym, there's a regen room, there's a hydro room to do your kind of hot and cold water and everything like that. So there's loads, and it's just a great setup for everyone involved.
Oh yeah, that's the new there's an indoor field, isn't it? Like I've
Yeah,
seen.
the indoor field. So when it's raining, we get to go inside. So
Ideal.
unlike the 15s, they got to stay outside, play the conditions.
Oh
We're
yeah.
going to hot country, so we get it easy.
Yeah, nice one. And so what's the regen room?
Regen room is just regeneration. So it's just like there's these not massage chairs, these big like loungers, and you get to like there's a load of Normatex with each chair, and then there's like massage guns. There's like rollers that kind of like vibrate. There's balls that like little vibrated as well. So there's like it's just all kind of for recovery.
Mm.
Which is class. Like so, and you go in, it's like a nice dark room. There's like nice music, nice kind of meditating music on in the background, and you just go in. You can just kind of chill out. Like if you're having like a tough day or bad day or whatever, you can just go in, bang in, cover, get yourself together, and yeah, so it's good. Like really
That's
cool room. Like
yeah, it's lovely. And what's the schedule like for you? Like when you go back, are you like 5 days a week, or is it like all in at certain times of the year, or are you like half in for times, or how does it work?
yeah, so it's full time. It's Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. So we got 4 days of the week that will train. And ideally we'd have like kind of a speed on a Monday with like kind of a skill session in a gym, and then Tuesday would be a training session with a gym, and then Thursday would be our double day where we do 2 pitch sessions, and then Friday would be a pitch session and a gym session, and Thursday and Friday would be our hardest days in the week. So there'd be kind of contact based drills and little games that we'd go 7-on-7. So yeah, it's quite hectic. Like we're there from like 7 in the morning to like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So it is a busy day, and it's quite quick turnaround from like pitch to gym as well.
Yeah. And when you're on the series, on the circuit, is it kind of early starts as well? I was just wondering, 7 a.m. is early, but like, is that why? Do they get you up earlier? Like when you're on tour, you're kind of up early.
Yeah, so like I think just for preference and for the players, we want to be having kind of like those early starts, because then guys can go to college, or they can go to work and work in the afternoons. Whereas if we're coming in at like 11 o'clock and training, then you're not really going to work in the morning, and then you're not going to you're going to be tired then come the evening time, and you won't get back till later. And obviously there's traffic around and everything like that because it's a busy area. So I think ideally for us, for the players, the kind of earlier starts are better, because then everyone can go and either do their second job or go and kind of finish off their college work or go to college or whatever it is. So it kind of in that way it works perfect, and it's quite flexible for everybody.
Yeah, it's ideal actually. And so you are working as a personal trainer as well, are you?
Yeah, so I'm a personal trainer, and then I'm a coach in Lansdowne. So I'm coaching the J1 kind of senior seconds team there. So yeah, kind of working three jobs, but I get, as I said, it's all flexible. Like the gym hours, they work around my rugby schedule, and my boss, he's a big rugby head, so which is great. So he allows me to work my own kind of hours, and when I'm there, I can get stuck in. And then with the rugby coaching, it's the Tuesday and Thursday nights, and then a Sunday game. So like it works well. Like I can work the gym hours around things, so I don't have to be on a Tuesday and Thursday nights. And then sevens is always in the morning time and afternoon. So it all works out really nicely. But it's busy. It's busy and it's hard work as well at the same time. You could be in training and then you're straight into the gym, coaching, and kind of it's about like 45 minutes away as well from Blanchardstown from training. So and then I could be in Lansdowne then as well. So it's just, yeah, it is kind of compact and all quick turnarounds, and yeah, busy.
Yeah. And how long have you been coaching?
The rugby coach or
Rugby.
the
Yeah.
person? Yeah, the
Rugby.
rugby. So I did it in my old school for about 4 years, and then I coached with the Blackrock under 20s. Um, Between Blackrock, the school, and the club, had like a year gap, and then went straight back into coaching again. I did 2 years for the 20s, and then I kind of just was focused on the sevens and just made sure that I was kind of getting back into the swing of things, because I had an injury, so I just didn't kind of want to. I wanted to make sure that the priority was sevens, and that was going to get back on track. And thank God that happened. And then last year, the club I went now, Lansdowne, they kind of lost they lost a coach, and then they only had one guy there kind of looking after it. And yeah, they just rang me and they were just like, would you be able to help out just towards the end of the season? I absolutely help you out. And then they gave me the head coach role this year. So yeah, it's nice. It's nice. It's really good. Like, so I've been coaching like I'd say on and off like 10 years.
Yeah,
So
because I remember, yeah, when we were playing, weren't you were in the school, you were doing a good bit then in
yeah, so I was
Blackrock.
doing it in the school, and then I did like the minis in Lansdowne. So like the under sixes, sevens, eights, like the under 12s and all that. So yeah, like I mean, like coaching part of me, like, and it's kind of, it's easy in that sense, because I'm playing, I'm able to take what I've experienced, what I've learned from other coaches, and put it on to the other guys, but also giving what my knowledge and how I approach the game. So it's nice, and not that it's easy, but it's kind of second nature to me. So I don't have to kind of really think too hard about it or like stress about it. So it just like, yeah, it comes naturally. And like I'm well able to work with the guys that I am coaching, and then so it's good. It's good.
Yeah, it's ideal. And so when did you get into the personal training and that side of things then?
Personal training, I got into about 8 years ago. I had started as kind of a sports management course down in Bray, and that was something that I thought I was going to get into. I didn't get the points from school, so I had to kind of go back course, like a level 6, and then hopefully get into UCD. I did like 4 months of that sports management course in Bray, and then I just left because I was with the sub academy in Leinster. So I didn't want, like, again, rugby was the focus, and I kind of, being naive, I thought just rugby was going to come first, and that was going to be the be all and end all, and you're just going to be a rugby player, and then that's it, and not thinking about kind of college or work or anything like that. So in that sense, I kind of wasn't educated about that and making the right choices. So it was just all rugby. So anyway, I kind of took the year out, just focused on the rugby. The rugby kind of went well, did the under 20s and all that, and then with the Ireland, and then then yeah, I kind of just figured out, okay, I need to actually start to do something. So I was always keen on the gym. And again, it works with, the rugby as well, and like working on your body and making sure it's in the top physical condition. So yeah, I got into a course in National Training Center. So it's like an 18-week course. And kind of, again, it's really intense. It's 18 weeks, just a lot of information thrown at you, and then you have a set of exams at the end of it. And yeah, so I did that and got qualified. And then the only thing was, which for any personal trainers, like just qualified, trying to find a job that suits you, like it's so difficult because people want personal trainers that have experience. So that was one thing I was struggling to get. So it took me about, after I got qualified, it took me about 2-3 years to actually find a job and work with the sevens. So yeah, I'm up in a job now in Sandyford. It's called Origin Fitness and personal training there. It's a nice private gym, so it's only kind of class-based times. So clients can't come in whenever they want. They come in kind of the set times. So I like that a lot better than kind of those public gyms where you can just come in wherever. And yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting to say there about like being so focused on rugby, and like you're saying like, oh, it might have been a bit of a bad thing, but then again, I'd say a lot of people looking at you now are like, geez, that's unreal. Like it worked out so well. Like you get, the sevens, and then you're traveling the world, and like you're in this position and getting medals, and it's like, I know what you mean, but like it's, if you'd went all in on the college or half or maybe, who knows. It's
No, absolutely. Yeah. And I fully agree. Like, the priority was always being a rugby player. And that's for any player coming up, boy or girl, that's your priority. That's what you want to do. You obviously go for it, but obviously just keep in the back of your mind that, there is work in college that you need to look at, and for kind of after rugby. And that was the kind of, just, I knew it was there, but I just didn't really kind of focus on it. Now, yes, I was young enough to kind of try and pursue the rugby, and kind of not think about college, because not everyone knows what they're going to do coming out of school. People drop out of courses, people change courses, so there's loads of that, and you probably don't figure yourself out until you're kind of like, what, 24, 25, maybe later. So yeah, that's the only thing. The only kind of regret would be just keeping that a bit more in the back, bit more in kind of in your head, and just about like what you're actually kind of doing. You don't have to fully focus on it, and rugby can be the priority, or your sport can be your priority, but just make sure you kind of have some sort of idea, or you're just kind of thinking away, and you have an idea of what your plans are, or what you kind of want to do alongside the rugby or after.
Yeah, 100%. They're brilliant points you make. And I think a big problem is that you made a lot of great points there. Like 18-year-olds then like deciding like, oh, go, like I have to, this is what I'm going to do, and going to college, and you can take 2 years out and work and do different things, or do some different things and see what you enjoy, and you
No,
can,
absolutely.
and you can at that young age like go after a sport or go after rugby or do that. And like you say, 22, 3, 4, 5, like then you can start to, you might find interest and then go, there's so much time. I think, we I don't know, when you're young, you get pushed this idea that's like, you got to do this, but sure, I even find it myself now. Like I'm in my late 20s, I started to see, I was like, actually, I kind of prefer doing this, or prefer, you have different interests.
Yeah, no, that's it. And then you come across like friends like out of school, like with me in school, it was always, I was with the kind of rugby guys, and rugby was the focus, rugby was the thing. We just wanted rugby. And then you kind of get out and you meet new friends, and they have obviously different interests to what you were in school and what you have. And then you kind of like, oh, do you know what? That's a good idea. I might do that. And, yeah. So like, there's just, it's not always about what you want to do from 16, 17, 18. You'll definitely either change it, or could well stick to it. Like, but yeah, there's always room for change, and you don't have to rush into anything literally coming out first year of school. So
100%. And so chat to me a bit about starting out with the sevens, and like I remember it was before I left in 2016, so maybe what, 2015. I remember you going off, a gang of you from Lansdowne, and was it like trials up in Santry or something? I remember, but
Yeah, so there would have been fitness testing in Santry, um, and so it was like a 150 test. So we did that, and then we had a trial on the back pitch in Lansdowne, in the Aviva, and yeah, we just had a couple of games that weekend, mix and matching teams, and then you got whoever kind of performed, whoever they like seeing. Um, then they called back. We got an email sent back, and yeah, so then it's kind of just kicked off from there. There was competition. So I think that was about March, April, I think it was when we started those trials, and then there was competition in June where we had like Rugby Europe competitions to start kind of building our profile and getting ourselves to where we are now. I didn't now, to be honest, I didn't know that was the goal. I just kind of I got told by a referee. So I was running a tag event in Lansdowne, and one of the referees was just like, the IRP are setting up a sevens team again. To be honest, I kind of never watched sevens before. I've seen clips of it and all that, like, but obviously same with everyone now in Ireland. Like, people are only learning about sevens now. So I was kind of like, always, obviously it was just 15s, but yeah. So your man, the referee, told me to sign up, so I signed up, and that's kind of how I got into it. And then, so anyway, got called back from the trial, which was great, delighted. And then we were building into kind of Division C, which was in Bosnia, and yeah, it was just real raw at the start, like with just everyone not knowing how to play sevens. We just got to learn it from scratch. Where there's kids from like Fiji and South Africa, they're playing like all this touch and tag rugby, and down in Australia and New Zealand as well. Like, so they're all like well used to it, and they can adapt quite a lot easier than what we can in Ireland, because we just didn't have a clue. Obviously, the coaches we had from Australia, Anthony Eddy and David Nusafor, came over to kind of get this up and running. So I think in that way we had a lot of work to do and kind of figure out the game as we went, and we trained and played matches. So yes, like 2015 was the start of it all, and in the back pitches of like Lansdowne into Division C in Bosnia. Jeez, like, I'd never forget it. We were like playing in Bosnia. The pitch was on like right beside a river, and there was the amount of flies. It was roasting. The Astro was burning your boots, like, and then you're getting into your feet, and lads are pouring water on, making it worse. Like, it was just like, it was cool, but like it was so gross. Like, oh, don't bring me back to Bosnia ever.
and so from there, then it was like Division B, division like the next year.
Yeah, so then there was Division B, which was the same year, and then we had European competition to get into to qualify for the repechage in for the Olympics. So that was the following year. So we came third in that tournament, and then that meant we went to Monaco to play in the Olympic qualifier, and that was a bit mad because we were playing teams like Malta and Turkey and Latvia and Lithuania, and obviously no disrespect to those teams, but yeah, like we were kind of like, oh my god, this is unreal. We're kind of down with these teams, but yeah, we have a chance to kind of qualify for the Olympics, and we're not even on the World Series. We're not in the World Cup. Like, it was mad. Like, so then obviously that was the following year, and before that Olympic tournament, we had like throughout the year we had like trips to Spain where we go to like places like Elche and Madrid, and we kind of train against the Spanish team, because at that stage it was Spain and Russia that were our competitors. Obviously, like, France were on the World Series, and England and Scotland. Well, Scotland don't play Rugby Europe, and Wales as well. So yeah, those teams were kind of like sending kind of second teams to those Rugby Europe competitions. And yeah, so it was Spain and Russia that were kind of like our big competitors at that time. And yeah, so like it was exciting, it was cool, it was different. But yeah, it was like, you know, we're down at the bottom, we're looking to qualify for the Olympics. Um, so yeah.
And during that time, did you not have contracts? Or I remember seeing in the papers then like contracts coming in. What was the deal then?
Yeah, so we didn't, so literally we're, yeah, basically paying for free, like playing for free, not paying for free, playing for free. And you know, no one, like at that stage, no one was kind of thinking about money, because there was guys coming from the academies, so like obviously they were getting paid with their academies and coming in. And yeah, then for guys like me who weren't with any kind of province, we were just kind of happy to kind of get out and train. And yeah, when I'd finally realized there was the goal was to be getting towards a World Series, and you know, the Olympics and World Cup, then kind of, you know, you didn't want to kind of just go, or you weren't thinking about money, you were thinking about like this journey that we're going to go on with the World Cup and the World Series and the Olympics. So kind of at the back of your mind, like I'd say the contracts and the money side of things was pushed right back. And it only kind of crept in to when we actually literally came on the scene, where teams were looking at us, like fans were looking at us, like commentators, everyone. They were just like, we were the talk, not talk of the town, but yeah, we were talk of the town. Like this team just came out of nowhere, 2015, and now they're kind of pushing for World Series and kind of Olympic spots and everything like that. So that's going to kind of like realize, okay, now I think the IRFU is the same thing. Like, okay, we got to chip in with these boys and make sure that they're, you know, getting getting looked after, you know, as best I can say. Like it's you know, obviously it's been hard with all the kind of like financial side of things, but you know, like we got a little bit towards us, which was good. They backed us. And yeah, like that was the thing when when we missed out on the qualification for in 2016 for the Olympics in Rio. Um, yeah, that was when they kind of like start to push on with like small enough contracts. In like 2017, I think it was like the year after 2017, that was the year then we started to kind of push on with the contracts. So then it built in towards 2018, where we had our first year in Hong Kong. Um, so yeah, we were paid, like we started getting contracts in 2017, 18. So
Good stuff. And is it like 1 year, year to year then, the way it goes now?
yeah, at the moment it'd be 1 year. Some guys like there's one or two that will be on like 2 years. But yeah, no, it's all the same, 1 2 years, same contracts and all that. So like everyone's kind of equal now. Um, so yeah, it's grand. And like everyone knows the deal as well with it, and obviously it's public know about it as well. So like, look, they're not the most attractive contracts, but look, they'll do. Everyone's not just in it for the money. Obviously, everyone loves to. They want to play rugby. They want to play at the highest level. It's another opportunity for anyone that can't make it in the 15s game. You know, to kind of drift off on a different path and, you know, go with the sevens. And look, you can see that it's worked for some guys who've gone back into the 15s, like, you know, Tom Daly's come out of it nicely, Adam Byrne, Hugo Keenan, Jimmy O'Brien. So like there's loads of them. And it's yeah, you know, it's not just about the money. Like obviously, you know, everyone would love a big massive contract, but like that's not the, you know, that's not the main thing here. Like it's obviously trying to do well, and you know what we've achieved, go to the Olympics and the World Cup and get a bronze out of it. So you know, like that's part of it. But yeah.
Yeah. And were you thinking of going 15s or like professionally, like I know in Ireland there's obviously only the four teams, but say, I don't know, before seven started, was that something you were thinking of?
Yeah, so like I was in after school, I did all the underage teams, 18s, 19s, 20s, and I didn't do 19s now, just the 20s, to 2 years in 20s, did Ireland 20s. So like I thought I was in a really good place, and did Leinster sub academy, and yeah, just kind of I kind of realized obviously there was nothing going to happen in Ireland. It like if Leinster kind of got rid of me, which is fine. Like they made that choice, Grant. I took it on my own to call my man Nigel Carlin from Connacht at the time, and he brought me down to do to play with the Connacht 20s and the Inch Pros, and then that kind of pushed me into the Ireland 20s, which is great. And then nothing happened from there with any of the provinces. So I obviously knew the kind of the dream in Ireland was kind of dead, to play with any of the provinces. So then I got onto like, and I had no one representing me, but I got onto a couple of guys that are agents, but I wasn't signed with them, but I was just helping, asking for like advice and help to kind of push into like England, hopefully like a championship or a premiership. I got like 1 or 2 offers from like championships. That wasn't great offers. It would have been in the middle of nowhere, and a different scene. And then what actually kind of kept me here, I was gonna take it. What kept me here was I had a conversation with Mick Quinn, and who's like this big ex-Irish international, him. And then Colin McEntee, who was Leinster Academy at my time when I was there, he was the manager. And they sat me down. They were just like, look, if you go away, again, there's benefits. You get game time, you play at a higher level. But if you stay here and you play and you dominate, and we can help you. We can put go through your games, have them recorded, blah blah blah. And that never happened now, which was like, they kind of sold me a dream really. But like, look, they kept me here. Like that kind of sounded good at the time. So I stayed on another year with Lansdowne, and then that kind of literally, I think it was a few months later, it was signed up for the Sevens. So in that sense, it was a blessing in disguise. So yeah, maybe I didn't look at my games every 6 months, but look, I got to sign up for the Sevens, and yeah, like I'm here where I am with a bronze medal. So like it's, yeah, blessing in disguise.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's an interesting one. Like the championship, like you say, like going off some random spot, like, and the money's obviously not good. And I think like the Lansdowne teams that we had were definitely every bit as good as a lot of
Oh yeah,
championship teams.
no, they were like we savage players, guys. Tom Daly, Tom Farrell, they were a part of it. With an unbelievable front row, Jack O'Connell, Marty Moore, Tom Sexton, like
Yeah,
the guys who have gone pro, Craig Ronaldson, John Cooney, like, so like, yeah, Jordy Murphy, like lads who played for
yeah,
Ireland, like, so we had and Tiger Byrne,
yeah. Matt
one of Ireland's
Healy.
best players. Yeah, we
Yeah.
had you, man, Brian Willis.
Yeah. It was yeah, it
Um,
was some crack. I remember even as a young lad, like going into those dressing rooms or whatever, like it was like, whoa, this is
yeah,
ridiculous. Like it's
yeah, well, that's the thing now. I've seen like it's all young, like AL is now just full of young lads coming out of school. You're literally like, if you're good enough, you're making the team at 18, 19. And before it wasn't that, like you had to, like, that was the thing. We went through a lot of tough times. Just you had to earn it. Like you literally, you came out of school and you busted your balls 20s to play well. And like even if you were one of the top 20s, you weren't getting into the senior team. And that was the thing. Like these lads were like, close to kind of late 20s and into their 30s. These lads were tough, like really tough lads. And they made you work for it. And that's the thing now. Like, it is AL starting to become really, really young. It's nearly like all academy players now playing. So but yeah, look, that's the one thing I wish lads had now in AL. All the old fellas. I'd probably be one of those lads. But like these lads would be like doing all the initiations with you, and the belt buckles and all. So like, I'm not gonna go that far. I'm not going to go into it that much, but like, yeah, no, they were tough lads, and they kind of kept you straight and on the straight and narrow. So
Yeah, and I remember even like remember 20s versus seniors. Like I was just chatting to someone there recently, and it was like a war zone when we were like Lansdowne 20s against going up against the seniors because we all obviously wanted to get into that team,
yeah,
and they didn't want to let us in, obviously, and we kill each other.
oh, absolutely. And that, yeah, that's when like our time when we were out is just kind of first or second year. Like that's when the kind of young lads started to progress and kind of pretty much kick the old boys out, you
Yeah.
know. So yeah, that was good crack. Geez, you'd be battered after a Tuesday, like oh, going home crying. Like
Yeah. And so what's your favorite stop on the series?
favorite stop would be Cape Town, without a shadow of a doubt. Like we did that the first year in the World Series 2019. Like just unbelievable. The people are just so incredible. Just like they're just so into it. They're so into it. And like even like looking at their like kind of Sky Sports News, their Super Sport, like they literally promote every single sport. Like they're promoting South African under 18 rugby, and you know, like that wouldn't be here, that wouldn't be over in England. So like, yeah, I just thought like their whole culture, their like I love a good coffee now, and the coffee's unbelievable. Just the places you go to see, like Table Mountain, like there's it's on the sea, like it's just yeah, it's just awesome. Like I absolutely love it. And Vancouver, I pick Vancouver as well. That's one of my top spots. A little bit like Dublin, but it's I think it's super cool. Like there's so much to do there as well. So they'd be the two kind of stops I'd happily go back to every single time.
Yeah, nice one. And then with Olympics coming up, you don't need to you don't need to qualify for anything. You're like 100% in the series and all that.
No, so in the series we're there. We were fifth this year, so we stay there. And obviously they've changed the whole thing now with GB coming in and taking over England, Scotland, Wales. There was meant to be two teams relegated this year after this year, and because GB thing happened, no one's getting relegated, so it'll just be 15 teams, and there'll be 14 teams, and then the Uruguay are the new team that are coming up. They're going to be a core team because they won their qualification and or that challenger series, and that we'll have an invitational team every two destinations. So when we go down to Dubai and Cape Town, there'll be someone kind of in that region. Then when we go to Europe, there'll be someone in that region. So it's back to the invitational team as the 16th team. But yeah, for the Olympics in 24 Paris, we have to. This year is a big year because if we come top four, I think we automatically qualify for the Olympics, and you don't have to go through Rugby Europe, and then you don't have to do the repertoire or anything like that. So yeah, like really really big year for every team.
Nice, yeah. So go get a medal this year in the series. That's the plan.
Oh, absolutely, that's the plan. Like we need to. That's what. Not that we need to, but we want to push into as many finals as we can because we started off as an invitational team. We got a bronze, and then our kind of start of the kind of our first World Series didn't kind of go too great. Like we didn't push to any semi-finals. We pushed a couple of quarters, and now this year we pushed for some semi-finals, and we got to one final. We came second, so we've done really well. We've kind of overachieved this year, but now we know like after getting silver in Toulouse, a bronze in Cape Town, and we've had a number of narrow misses to make the finals in other destinations. We now know that we're right up there with the likes of Fiji and South Africa and New Zealand and Australia and Argentina. So we realize we can go and win the series. We can go win a series of events, but obviously it's not that easy. Obviously, there's no easy games. They're all tough. It doesn't matter what group you get paired with. Any team that comes out and wants this more than you, and they just show up. yeah, it becomes very difficult, and you just got to be in the right mind frame to wanting to go and win and to go and do the job. So yeah, well, look, we fully back ourselves to go and do it, but obviously we just want to start with Hong Kong, win Hong Kong, and go from there. There's no point thinking about Dubai and Cape Town and then down the line London, Paris, anything like that. So yeah, that would be the goal.
100%. And yeah, it's interesting with sevens, like you say, nearly every single game is tough. Like, there's no easy games really, or it's challenging in that sense. And you're doing so many games in a weekend, 15s as well. It's like, all right, you prepare for this team and you know what you're doing, and you got the game's a bit slower, obviously. So it's tough in that sense. That you just got to be switched on all the time, like at the very top of your game.
Yeah, like that's been the thing for us this year when we've switched off, like against the top teams, New Zealand, Argentina, Australia, when we would kind of always perform against those teams, and but it's against teams that we feel that we can beat every single week. Like obviously when we know we can take New Zealand, we know we can beat them. We haven't done it yet, but it's not it's in our heads not always a guaranteed win because we know how good they are, but we also know that there's teams out there that we can beat every single time if we just make sure that we are clued in. And we've had times where we're not clued in, we're off that 1% off, and then they go and beat us. Because maybe they're clued in more. We switched off, we made mistakes. So yeah, like it's a big mental battle because there's loads of second chances because you lose your first pool game, you can go win your second and your third pool game, and you get out of the out into the quarterfinals, or you've lost your first two games, or you've drawn one, or whatever it is, and you need to win your last game by like 5-6 points to get through. Like that's like it's all mental battle. Like you can't sulk because you didn't get the ball, or you played badly, or you missed a tackle, or whatever it is. You gotta just like be switched on. And that's the thing about sevens, you gotta switch on for when the moment's right, and you're getting ready up for a game, but then you need to learn to switch off, forget about things, and just push it to the side.
And do you do anything after games to switch off?
Um, so like there's some venues we would be close to the hotel, so we could go back in between games, and that's what we did for the World Cup. So we were able to kind of like lie down in bed, go for food, and just kind of like chill out, like go play cards. But like a lot of it would just be like just chill out, take your time. You can review your game, the opposition that you have next, and then there's some venues where you're staying in the stadium for the whole day, so that can be long. Obviously, there's a great spots where you can just get your food, and your coffee, and you know, again, you still review your games, and yeah, like it's just trying to chill out. And you can watch the other teams go into the stands, um, because like if you're on it constantly and switched on the whole time, like you just eventually you're just going to switch off, and that'll be that moment where you mess up in a game or anything like that. So you switch off in a big moment. So yeah, it's just trying to save as much energy as possible for each game, and you start to build. Like I always look at it, you try to build maybe 40 minutes before the game, where you're building towards a warm up and all that. So yeah, and like look, everyone knows sevens is kind of like fairly relaxed, but when you get going in a match, it's the most intense thing you're ever going to play. So
For sure. And when you're starting on the series, so like you're getting up through those, and like your first, I remember where you're one of those invitational teams to start, and getting a first taste. And I'm sure like you probably were like, oh, sick, we're playing against Fiji. Like, oh, sick, we're playing against these teams. Like when you finally got there, was there a moment when the team switched from kind of like, this is cool to be here, to like, we're going to go and beat these teams?
yeah, I think it was when we played against USA in our first time like competing as an invitational team in 2018 in London, when we got the bronze medal. We played them in the quarters, and they were like they were a class team that year, and they were pushing top four. I don't know if they were pushing oh, for the title, but they were definitely pushing top four anyway. And yeah, like they were going really, really well, and we ended up beating them in the quarters, and like that was just shock to absolutely everyone, because we got, in fairness now, we got lucky at getting out of the group because everyone kind of had won a game and went down to points, and Australia did us a favor, so we got out of it quite lucky, and we ended up playing USA and we beat them. Like it was just that was the start of it all. That's when we just like, okay, we're ready. Like we're ready to like push and get on this series. And that was literally straight after losing in Hong Kong to qualify for the World Series. Um so yeah, like that was a big moment, a big turn for everybody. And then the lads had the World Cup in 2018. So yeah, beating USA was probably the turning point for everybody to realize that, like, okay, we can actually be a serious upset and we can beat these teams when we're switched on. And then we went and played Fiji in the semi-final. We got hockeyed. I had Femi Ranraja look up against me on a one-on-one ball, kick it off by Fiji, landing right on top of me, and me, my little 5'8" stature, trying to go up against him. I had no chance, no chance. Thought I had it, thought I had him. And
Yeah,
he's like 6'4", like 6'2", Jesus.
literal animal. Yeah.
Yeah,
And how was that? You mentioned losing Hong Kong. I remember that to get into get into the series that time.
yeah, that was the most heartbreaking thing I've ever experienced. That was like we were playing Japan in the semi-final. Everything went really well, and it was 7-0. And then literally, I think it was like 14 seconds on the clock. I went to chip the ball, and the ball bounced off the post and hit I kind of like my knee, my hand, knocked on, and then they got a scrum 5 meters out, and like literally, I think there was maybe 2 seconds before it was going to be blown for full time, and it would go to extra time. And like literally, they got a scrum on the last play and worked the whole way up the field and scored and knocked us out. So like that was like nothing went, like we didn't do anything wrong. Like it was just literally, it was a bounce of a ball that literally knocked us out. Like if I'd scored it, it was game over. We're in the final, and more than likely we would have won as well. So um yeah, that was heartbreaking. Like everyone was absolutely devastated because we didn't know what was going to happen the following year. We didn't know if we were going to, Ireland Sevens were obviously going to do it all again, but we didn't know what was going to happen to us as players, contracts, and were lads going to stay on. So like that was the big kind of worry, and that's why it was so heartbreaking.
Yeah, 100%. And how'd you like build yourself back up then, or like to?
Um, like we kind of when we got back into training and we were building up to the Invitational in London and Paris. There was just that like joke and laugh about. I remember Stan McDowell was our coach at the time. Um, we were doing like a hand drill, and I dropped the ball, and he was like, "Oh, there's Rochi dropping the ball again." So like there was just a bit of a joke and a laugh about it, and that kind of just takes it away. You're not, you obviously look back at the disappointment like that. I should have, like, could have caught the ball, could have done this or whatever. But like the joking and the laughing, the lads did the same thing as well, and I did it as well. Like I kept laughing about it and joking about it. Lads, we'd be on the series now if we were. I just caught the ball. So I think that makes it a bit easier if you can just kind of laugh it off and joke about it and not take it so seriously. Obviously, you have your moments where, like, if it's just happened, when it did in Hong Kong, you take it, you sulk about it, however you want to go about it, but then you just got to leave it at the door and move on.
Yeah, 100%. Well, hey, bud, congrats on everything, and thanks for your time. And I'm looking forward to watching you get at it again when the series starts up. When's the next? When's the Hong Kong or the first stop?
Hong Kong is in, I think it's like the fourth, fifth, 6th of November. I think it is one of that
Okay,
weekend anyway. It's first weekend in November. So Yeah, it's gonna be wild. It's gonna be wild. Never done. They've never done October. Sorry, November. Um, for Hong Kong, so it's always been in April. Now Hong Kong's did 2 years this year, so um,
Okay.
so yeah, it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be wild. But yeah, I think there's like COVID is still big over there, and masks and all that. So I actually think we're staying in the hotel after training. Like you go training, you come back and you
Oh,
stay in the hotel. Yeah, so it's very restricted. Back to bloody lockdowns,
back
eh?
to that carry on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hey, bud, best luck with it. Been unreal chatting and catching
Cheers,
up.
Moyle. Thank you. All right, good to see you, man. Good to see you. Good to catch up.